Serie A week 14 is in the books. Another fantastic weekend of Serie A. Some incredible results. Napoli keeps on winning. Atalanta, always impressive. Juventus, Lazio slip. Milan wins. Of course, the unfortunate events between Fiorentina and Inter. Bove having a medical issue during the game had to be stopped and postponed. Guys, we're going to talk about everything. So let's start right away with the Atalanta-Roma, il posticipo del lunedì. Atalanta beats Roma 2-0. Guys, Atalanta is slowly but surely acquiring the maturity to bring home the results even if they don't deserve it, right? So this game today, it took a while for Atalanta to score the goal at the 78th minute off a lucky bounce because it was completely deflected, caught the goalie off guard. It was going one way, gets deflected, goes in the other way. Until then, Roma had played fantastic. Roma had played a very good game, one of their best games of the season, let's be honest. And Atalanta, although they were playing well, weren't, I don't know what. Like Roma was defending very, very well. They were playing very well, well put on the field. And then, of course, there was a bit of controversy with Zaniolo, who scored the second goal for Atalanta. Yes, Zaniolo is still alive and plays for Atalanta. And he took off his shirt like if he had won the World Cup. Of course, the Roma fans not liking it. The Roma players not liking it. Why? Because he used to play for Roma. But I gotta say this. If you, the fans, are allowed to boo an ex-player, then you know what? That player should be allowed to go out there and celebrate when he scores a goal against you. That's my opinion. Roma this week had a big week. They played Napoli, Tottenham, and today Atalanta. It was never going to be an easy first week for Ranieri. Had a horrible game against Napoli. Played fantastically well against Tottenham. It was a 1-1 draw. And today they lose 2-0, but they didn't play bad. In terms of actually playing the game, sul campo, the style of play, the performance, it wasn't bad. So you can't really criticize Roma for losing against a very good Atalanta team who have won now their 8th straight Serie A game. Like, it was always going to be a tough task, and unfortunately it didn't happen for them. And Atalanta, a point behind Napoli, they are just fantastic. Like I said, when you start bringing home the results, even though you don't deserve it, smells good. It smells good for the scudetto. We always say it. They still have to beat Napoli, of course. Napoli still on top. They beat Torino 1-0. McTominay scores his third goal in Serie A. What a great impact McTominay on this Napoli team. Nel centrocampo del Napoli, he's doing fantastically well. No wonder Conte wanted him. It's not the first time that a Premier League player comes to Serie A this first season and has a fantastic first season. We saw it with Lukaku, we saw it with Abrahams, we saw it with Tomori, Loftus-Cheek, Pulisic. And so usually the Premier League team players, when they come to Serie A, at least for their first season, are actually pretty good. So McTominay having a fantastic season for them, a very important part of this Napoli team. And let's be honest, if it wasn't for Milinkovic-Savic making fantastic saves on Kvaratskhelia, on Lukaku, on Oliveira, it probably would have finished with a bigger margin. But it doesn't. And so Napoli beats Torino 1-0 and keep on top of Serie A with 32 points. Lazio loses against Parma in a shocking result. They lose 3-1. Rovella in the first half fa e disfa tutto. Why? Because he scores a goal at the second minute. It gets called back because he had committed a foul previous to the goal. But then a sloppy pass from Rovella to Man, who scores the 1-0 goal. Like a sloppy pass. Like, you're a Serie A player. Certain things you should never do. A pass like that should never happen, ever. But it happened. He concedes the goal for Parma. Then Castellanos gets a goal called back for offside. There's a VAR check for a possible penalty for Lazio. It doesn't happen. Lazio comes back in the second half. Always with that voglia. They start the second half very well, but then Parma finds the 2-0 goal. And even though Castellanos cuts the lead in half, they find a third goal late in the second half. So Parma winning against Lazio 3-1. Juventus and Lecce, it ends 1-1. Okay, Rebic scores at the 93rd minute and crushes all the Juventus fans' dreams of bringing this victory home. I gotta be honest, the last 10 minutes of this game was all Lecce. Like, Lecce pressed hard to get this goal. Juventus allowed a player who hadn't scored his entire time with Besiktas, who was basically asleep and locked away somewhere, to actually score a goal. Rebic, Ante Rebic, unbelievable. And although Juventus has a ton of injuries and has a very short bench, because right now their bench is very short. It's composed of half of these junior players that come from the farm team. Juventus, there's something missing. There's something missing, and yes, they hit the post with Conceição and Thuram, but there's something missing. And I know Juventus fans are going to tell me, yeah, but we're the only Serie A team who doesn't have a loss yet. Yes, that's true, but you also have 8 draws in 14 games. Like, you're not far from the Allegri style of play right now in terms of results. The results so far, not showing much for Juve. And so, listen, they bring a valuable point home, but they also lose 2 valuable points. So, to me, this isn't a great result for Juventus. Milan beats Empoli 3-0. We talked about it in a designated video. If you didn't get a chance, go watch it. Milan beats Empoli 3-0. They play very well against a smaller reality. Milan always having issues against these smaller teams, but they actually managed to bring home the result. Like I said, probably their best game against a smaller team. And I know that sounds crazy to say, but Milan against smaller teams always finds difficulties. It's always difficult for them. They never do well, or it's never very simple for them. This one, they looked very good. Watch out, Sassuolo tomorrow, Coppa Italia, Bestia Nera. I'm not looking forward to that game. Then we had the Fiorentina-Inter game. Unfortunately, it had to get postponed. They're not actually starting the game over. They're going to continue the game from like the 15th minute when they had to stop it. Unfortunately, Bove had a medical situation, falls to the ground, has to be brought to the hospital. Luckily, he is doing better. From last news, they said he was doing a lot better. So I won't get into more details than that because I don't feel comfortable talking about these things. And I'm not an expert, so good thing is that he's feeling better. The game probably postponed to late January or early February, just like the Milan-Bologna game. Genoa beats 10-man Udine. Viera's first win of the season. Cagliari-Verona. Cagliari wins 1-0. Bologna beats Venezia 3-0. And Como-Monza, it ends 1-1. And so if you look at the Classifica, Napoli is first with 32 points. Atalanta with 31. Inter, Fiorentina, Lazio at 28. Of course, Inter and Fiorentina with a game less. So that's why they have the asterisk. They have to complete the game. Juventus with 26. Milan, Bologna 22 and 21. Milan and Bologna also have to recuperate that game. And all the way at the bottom, as mentioned before, Como 11 points, Monza 10 points, and Venezia 8 points. They complete La Classifica, and it's not looking good for them. That's what it is, unfortunately. Let me know what you think in the comments. How did your team do this weekend? Are you happy with the results? Have a great soccer day.